I'm Tara Schwartz. Welcome back to Health Matters on CJAD 800. The MUHC Foundation is a nonprofit organization. We have a board of directors made up of volunteers from Montreal's medical, scientific, academic, and business communities. The board oversees and approves the foundation's budget, fundraising goals, and the granting of funds raised to support the priorities of the MUHC. Mark Smith is the president of Pandion Investments and has recently joined the MUHC Foundation's board of directors, and he joins us today. Thanks for being here, Mark.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in Dorval, went to Dorval High School, and then on to John Abbott, then on to McGill, where I did a business degree and obtained a CA, and then worked for Touche Ross, which is now Deloitte, and then got a big break in my mid-20s to join Claridge to work for the Bronfman family, and had an extremely fulfilling and enjoyable 15-year career with them. And during that time, had 3 fabulous kids who are now in their mid-20s, and from there moved on 20 years ago, created Pandion Investments, which now runs the family affairs for the Andre and France Chrétien-Desmarais families, along with the Bill Sinclair family from Ottawa, who's the founder of JDS Uniphase.
Has philanthropy always been something you've been involved in? Has it always been a part of your life?
It has. I mean, it has. I had an incredible mother who, a remarkable woman who lived by the motto that we all can't be clever, but we all can be kind. And although she was not a person of significant means, she spent a great deal of time helping people, and certainly raised my brother and I in that atmosphere and that those values. And then I was very fortunate, obviously working for the families who I've worked for. In all cases, in all 3 cases of these families, they are all immensely philanthropic and generous, and do incredible things. From Andre and France Desmarais to Bill Sinclair to Stephen Bronfman and his father Charles, back when I worked there, and watched how they gave so much back. So it has been. The answer is it has been, and for those reasons.
I love that story about your mother. Any story about the mother is always a good one. Why did you decide to join the MUHC Foundation Board of Directors?
Well, other than it's impossible to say no to Julie Campbell, I thought it's Julie Campbell being the president of the foundation, who's a remarkable woman, and her team. It's an extremely critical institution in this city, in this province, and I think that people who are fortunate enough, as I am, to be in a position to help, we have a responsibility, I think, to do everything we can to help the less fortunate, to make this city a better place, and to the extent anything I can do in a small way to help, I think is both rewarding for me and hopefully will help the institution achieve its goals.
We're speaking with Mark Smith, president of Pandion Investments, and we're talking about joining the MUHC Foundation Board of Directors. Mark, a favorite story of mine since joining the MUHC Foundation was when you and 2 other generous donors helped get a young woman who was being treated for terminal cancer at the MUHC back home to India to see her family. That happened last year. How do you reflect on that experience now, 1 year later? It's always stayed with me, that story.
Yeah, it was very moving at the time. I'll never forget, I got the call on a Friday morning from Julie Canville that she had this situation, and did I know anybody can help? And I told her immediately, we will help. And through tremendous help from France and Andre and Bill Sinclair, it wasn't just about the money. We had to get visas for the nurse who had to travel with her, and we had to deal with the ambassador in India who... small coincidence, happens to be the landlord for my daughter. My daughter lives in his home in Ottawa, so I had his direct number, which is complete coincidence, and was able to line up the visas. And so when I look back on it, Tara, it was very, very moving, extremely moving experience for me. Certainly, probably one of the most I've ever had in terms of emotional, not connected to my family. And you look back, and to be able to change the life of someone in such a profound way is just so rewarding. And I'll never forget when we put her on the plane, the small plane that was flying her to Toronto to board the Air Canada flight to Delhi. The husband saying goodbye to her, and it's brutal stuff, and you just realize how fragile life is. So it was a very, very moving experience, and the team at the hospital at the MUHC were incredible, and again with France and Andre and Bill's help, we were able to get it done.
Yeah, it was indeed an absolute beautiful story. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, you can head to our website, muhcfoundation.com, and look under stories, and just look up Mark, and you'll find it there. What do you hope to accomplish, Mark, in your time on the board?
Well, I hope to do what I can to obviously one of the principal functions of the board is the raising of money, and the private sources are critically important for the funding of these universities. As we know, takes up 45% of the Quebec budget. The provincial budget is spent on healthcare, and to do the extra things to make these institutions able to deliver better, more timely care requires private funds, private donations. So there's that element, and hopefully help them engage and to attract other leaders in the community. And then to support Julie and her team in whatever endeavors there are to help the foundation fulfill its mission, and help them with the tremendous challenges that they have in front of them.
The MUHC Foundation really supports research. This is a significant mandate for us, advancing medicine. As a board member for a hospital foundation, you get to hear about that research and about the science firsthand. Do you enjoy that part, learning all about those elements?
Actually, I do. I'm a bit of a closet doctor. It's a bit of a joke, but I love the medical side of it, the technical side of it. I barely passed physics and biology at Dorval High, but nevertheless, I enjoy it, the medical aspect, a great deal, and take an interest in it. We have a number of investments in our world, in the life science world, and some of my closest friends are doctors, and I've always just taken a great interest in medicine.
I have to ask you, we talk a lot about here on this show about donations. And when we talk about a board of directors raising those significant funds, I always like to bring it back to the person who can donate, $20 or $50, and the value of having, 10,000 people or 100,000 people give $20, and what that shows to healthcare workers, that sort of community idea of giving. What are your thoughts on, the big donations, but also the small ones that really matter?
Yeah, I think the small ones, where it helps, so the money, everything counts, and it's amazing how I've watched over the years how that goodwill will spread. But equally and arguably more importantly is what it does to someone from a psychological standpoint to give, regardless of the amount, the mere act of giving, and what that does in promoting kindness and in promoting helping others who are less fortunate. And if a society, and you've got certain countries in the world like Norway as an example, where the philanthropic levels are I think the highest in the world, and you just see what it does for a society, aside from everything else, in terms of a healthy society, where everybody is helping. Everybody's helping everybody and making life better for everyone. So I think it's amazing. You see it at the school level with the kids, and again, people who are perhaps in the socioeconomic bracket where they can't give the huge checks, but checks that can really have a difference. As the old saying I once saw in a school was, when's the last time you saw a bake sale for jet fighters? So
everyone counts. Indeed, it does. I agree. Mark Smith, President of Pandion Investments, new member of the MUHC Foundation Board of Directors. Thank you for taking the time with speaking to us on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Taryn. Keep up all your great work you do to help. It's invaluable.